but I can pretty confidently say that Bitcoin, I think, has effectively replaced gold, and it will continue to do so. And so that market cap is just going to grow. And then for the first time, I think we're seeing the initial versions of the solution that we thought Bitcoin was supposed to be: smart contracts and, better savings accounts, better insurance, better credit scoring. And that's happening through this DeFi stuff that's being built on Ethereum and Solana. These are the terms that, people are.
Hello and welcome back to Cryptollennium. Today, we'll be going over the FTX hacker, what they've been doing, and something nobody else is talking about: who they really are. Because it's out, and I think you should know. You deserve to know. After that, a brief look at where Bitcoin might be heading as a sort of part 2 of yesterday's segment. So without further ado, please like and subscribe, and let's dig in. As you can see, Bitcoin had a little leg down today, with certain fears coming out, certain players in the game acting messy, and a lot of crypto Twitter FUD and worry had us flirting with sub 16,000 levels, only to get bought back up. But keep an eye out for this, because there is likely another leg down, and I'll tell you why. FTX exploiter converts millions in Ether to Alameda-linked REN Bitcoin tokens. In addition, the exploiter transferred thousands of Ether to a brand new wallet. So this hacker that took 600 million plus out of FTX started exchanging millions of dollars worth of Ether to REN Bitcoin on Sunday, a token that represents Bitcoin on other blockchains. So funds stolen from FTX were steadily converted to Ether and then now to REN Bitcoin. The use of REN BTC may surprise some in the crypto space, but in 2021, Alameda Research, Sam Bankman-Fried owned trading arm at the center of a multi-billion-dollar scandal, said REN's development team was joining Alameda and would work on expanding REN's usage to several blockchains. This is in-house work that's happening. Let's dig into this deeper. Crypto Twitter, as you can see, the impact of the FTX hacker dumping ETH in real time. This is what happened to ETH earlier today. Unfortunately, it's a massive ETH, and he's just getting started. Still 200,000 in the main wallet, and as some pointed out, REN Bitcoin has limited liquidity, but people are arbing it, arbitrage, and letting the hacker sell more ETH. And so, because they're converting to REN Bitcoin, the price of REN Bitcoin is going significantly higher than standard Bitcoin. People are buying it off of certain exchanges and arbitraging it, meaning they're selling it for higher as REN Bitcoin and making a profit. This is benefiting the hacker. But who is the hacker? Because we know who the hacker is, so why are people just dragging this on? Well, some TLDR from today's, shenanigans. Alameda acquired REN. Scammer is using REN to launder the money, but REN hasn't or isn't able to stop this for some reason. Anything we're missing? Yes. Bahamas regulator confirms FTX asset seizure after hack accusation. This was 2 days ago, so I don't know why people are running around this topic as to who the hacker is. It says right here in an article published by Reuters, the Securities Commission of Bahamas said it seized digital assets of FTX's Bahama unit, an action that collapsed the crypto exchange's US-based leadership initially believed to be a hack. And so what we initially thought was a hack was not a hack, but actually a liquidation or a, if you will, a repo of some sort. And so what happened was the commission did not immediately respond to requests for comment, nor did FTX spokesperson. But it says here that FTX was caught off guard when assets were transferred on November 13th, the day after they declared bankruptcy, and initially believed that it had been hacked according to its court filing. While investigating the hack, FTX learned that Bankman-Fried and FTX co-founder Gary Wang made unauthorized transfers at the direction of the Bahamian government while effectively in the custody of Bahamas authorities, according to the filing. So, FTX accused Bankman-Fried of working with the Bahamas liquidators to undermine the U.S. bankruptcy case and shift assets overseas. This is huge. He's trying to find a way to get his hands back on the assets so that he controls what happens and he controls the narrative. It is very crazy. So for those of you who don't know who the hacker is, or those of you just scrolling around and you keep seeing these memes and things of people acting confused, the identity's out. It was the Bahamas government that triggered the hack, and it was Gary Wang and Sam Bankman-Fried who assisted with them. In other news, and more related to Bitcoin, and actually, before we go into Bitcoin some more, I want to tell you why this is so important, and this is huge. Keep this in mind. The U.S. just recently seized over $3 billion in Bitcoin. China owns billions of dollars in Bitcoin. Now the Bahamas is trying to get their hands on Ren Bitcoin, but probably to, convert it into regular Bitcoin. And many, many, many other countries are getting ready to adopt Bitcoin, such as El Salvador. They already did. So if you see what's happening in real time, you might not realize everybody's positioning themselves for the new gold standard. That is Bitcoin. This will bring power. The Bahamian government is realizing they need a bag of Bitcoin. So we don't know if we're going to get all the money back out of what they're seizing. We don't know if they're going to release it all. So something to keep in mind in the back of your minds. I don't know if it's just conspiracy, but we'll see how this plays out. In other news, Joe Biden leads critical call for game-changing global Bitcoin and crypto rules after shock FTX collapse. And so at this recent G20 summit of industrialized countries in Indonesia, the leaders of attending countries called the need for international rules to govern the fast-growing Bitcoin and crypto space critical, and said potential risks to financial stability needed to be mitigated. So this might pull Bitcoin down a little bit more as people worry before they get happy as to why this is happening and what this means. And fear kind of comes first. But never fear. Dan Moorhead, CEO of Pantera Capital, the company that just purchased about $140 million worth of Bitcoin this last week, posted this today. Halving of Bitcoin, next halving, expected in April 2024. Bitcoin has historically bottomed 477 days prior to the halving, which, if history were to repeat itself, would imply a trough around the turn of the year. 477 days prior to the halving on average. Currently, we are about 488 days from the halving. And so if you take a look at this chart, as soon as we enter this darkish brown area, you typically see a halving, a bottom. And it looks like we might just be entering that bottom zone. Accumulation is safe to say that, it's safe to say we can start accumulating. This is not financial advice, just kind of obvious. Next, the Bitcoin bottom should be very close. In 2015, Bitcoin bottomed 26 months after the halving, 2018, 29 months after the halving, and currently in 2022, Bitcoin is already at 30 months after the halving. This is wild. This means we are in bottom territory either now, it's either happened or it's about to happen, so don't blink. And lastly, if I had to show someone 4 charts to explain why Bitcoin is fine, charts 1 and 2 kind of explain the long-term holders, doubling down despite being the most underwater they've ever been in the history of holding Bitcoin. Long-term holder supply is at all-time highs. So as we can see here, long-term holders in loss at all-time highs, as well as on this chart, all-time highs. This is supply. So the supply is at an all-time high with the long-time holders. And the amount in loss is at an all-time high. This shows you the conviction and the strong-handedness. This one is just showing us blocks continue to be added. And as you can see, this is logarithmic. And so it's a semi-log, I believe. So for it to be linear means that Bitcoin is mathematically doing what it is programmed to do, which is something to instill confidence. If anybody is a math whiz here, they enjoys math for fun, you will know that this is a good sign. This is promising because it continues to be trend, except for this deviation right here, is nothing like we've ever seen. The only time we've been below this line is 2010. So hopefully this doesn't mean something drastically terrible is about to happen to Bitcoin, but I'm assuming it's going to give us an opportunity that we've never had, may not ever have ever again. And lastly, active addresses making higher lows. As you can see, active addresses is going strong. It is not bottoming out. We are going up. So to finish off, a nice reference page for you guys. Counting down to the next Bitcoin halving, I thought you all might appreciate. Save this, keep an eye on it, as the halving comes with changes in issuance, which supports the supply, or it actually squeezes the supply, sends us to new levels. So keep this. Thanks for tuning in. This is Cryptollennium. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you tomorrow.